Hello and welcome. This is Flat Cap Callum and this is part 2 of our Cheltenham preview. So those of you who have joined us for part 1 will already know that the score. For those of you who haven't, this is about looking at races for the Cheltenham Festival, Ante-post and non-runner no bet. We'll have a look at a little bit of both and predominantly focusing on where is the value in the market. So this is not the video that's going to tell you which this horse is necessarily going to be the one that wins. We're looking at the value in the market. That could be a win value, but in most cases we're looking at each way value here. So the bigger prices. So we're not going to talk about whether Shiskin's going to win or not. Probably going to win. That's not what we're here for today. What we're going to talk about is where are the bigger prices lurking that you might want to have a little look at right now. Okay, so part 1 we talked about the non-handicap races on day 1 and day 2. So part 2 we are talking about non-handicap races on day 3 and day 4. So the Thursday and Friday of Cheltenham. In part 3, which is still to come, you will find the handicap races are what we're focusing on there. So as far as this video goes, we've got 9 or 10 races we're gonna go through. We'll count through fairly quickly, I think. So first up, we've got Turner Novice Chase. So in the Turner Novice Chase, it's very difficult to try and work out the front of the market who might turn up and who might not turn up, and it's a tricky one to call. So we're not going to put any energy there. We're going to leave that for those trainers and owners to work it out. What I'm going to call your attention to is 2 horses that are much further down the market and much bigger in price that I quite like the look of. And they're the 2 Donald McCain horses. So he's got 2 horses entered in to run in the Turner Novice Chase. Whether they'll both run is a question mark, but I like the look of both of them. So we've got Manila Drama 25 to 1. The prices, I should flag as well, the prices I'm quoting here, these are all Ante-post prices on Skybet. So a lot of bookmakers now are starting to go non-runner no bet all races, not all but some. Skybet have got the option of Ante-post and non-runner no bet, and in the Ante-post market particularly there's some real value still there. So it's worth having a look at Skybet's Ante-post market. So you don't, there's no guarantee that if the horse doesn't run you don't get your money back, but it's worth it for the value I think at the moment. So Manila Drama, I like the look of, really solid horse. 25s with Skybet on the Ante-post market at the moment. You never quite know how many are going to end up running in this race, but 25s, it's looking a little bit of value for me. And the much bigger price, so the second horse that he's got is Present and Counting. You can get 100 to 1 on that. Now this is the type of horse, and I'll break this down for you when we get to the end, but I'm going to flag up value horses now if you want to maybe have a little each way, and value for bigger price, which is probably when you get to week before Cheltenham week and you actually see how many runners there's going to be, and where you might be paying extra places, it might be worth having a little look at. So Manila Drama is my value bet in the race. Present and Counting's a much bigger price and one to look for near the time. So those are 2 I like in there. Next up, we've got the Ryanair. So just before I start to make the video, the Ryanair market went a bit haywire and Allaho got taken out of some bookmakers. So it's a bit tricky to work out what quite is occurring there and whether or not they're redirecting Allaho to the Gold Cup. Allaho looks like a cert favourite for the Ryanair if it does go there. So if Allaho is still running, the value there I think is Mr. Fisher at 14 to 1. It's an inconsistent horse. I don't like putting up inconsistent horses on these sorts of things, but on its day it should make the frame. So 14s is good value. It's not going to make my final cut at the end of the video, but 14s is the value play right now in that race. Then going to go to Stayers Hurdle. Flooring Porter to me should be the favourite. It won last year. I don't think it got enough credit for winning last year. 4 to 1's a good enough price. It's very tricky to see what else of kind of value there might be coming up in that race. So where I'm going to go is Kashari. So if you actually look right down the bottom of the betting, you'll find Kashari 100 to 1 with Skybet's Ante-post. I really feel like this is overpriced. Now, I'm not telling you 100 to 1 shot's going to win the Stayers Hurdle, but you do get funny results and you do get big prices in the Stayers Hurdle that make the frame sometimes. And it's just moved yards the last sort of 6 months. And it looks like it's coming back to form. It's got bits and pieces of form that says if it runs to form, it shouldn't be too far away, and I think it's overpriced at 100, so I'm putting it in there. I know it won't be for everybody's. That's why we've gone there. And then the last race we're going to look at on the Thursday is the Mares Novice Hurdle. Again, quite a tricky one to try and look at of where value is, but also where the favourite is. I like the look of LS Bell. I think there's some each way value in that at the moment. I think 7's 8 to 1. You can get on that one. But the value play for me, and I've followed this all season, is Impervious. 14 to 1 on the Ante-post market for Skybet. I really think that's a decent price. There's not much between the top 10 really if you look in that market, and 6 of the top 12 in the betting market are all Willie Mullins, and they're not all going to turn up, so clearly he'll have a few go there. So I think LS Bell and Impervious to sort of take on the Mullins runners, and Impervious is the best one from a value play, so we're going to go with that. Then we're going to move to Friday. Friday first race, non-handicap, is the Triumph Hurdle. The front 3 in there and look really solid. So Vauban, Fieldior and Pied Piper. It's really hard to see past any of those 3. And if they do all turn up right now, there's not really a value play. If you get to the race day and we're looking at extra places, the one I'd want to be on right now from prices is C Sessions. You can get 40 to 1. I kind of think for me it falls in the best of the rest category. It's got some nice bits of form. I'm not telling you now put a bet on that to finish in the first 3, but if those 3 do turn up and we get extra places at Triumph Hurdle, C Sessions is where I'd be looking. Moving on to Albert Bartlett, another race, kind of long distance hurdle race. You do get funny results in these in terms of prices. I think Journey With Me, if it turns up, I would put that favourite. It's not favourite now. There's a bit of value in that price. At a much bigger price, the one that I'd keep an eye on nearer the time is Gelino Bello, so Paul Nicholls' horse. Currently get 33. It's not worth the bet now, I don't think, paying 3 places, but near the time it might be. But the one that I am particularly sweet on, and at the moment, if I was to give it some high praise from somewhere, it would be my each way bet of the week right now. So when I say right now, I'm making this video on Wednesday the 9th of February. So as the prices now are, the market is what it is. Skybet will pay 16 to 1 each way on Bardenstown Lad. Bardenstown Lad, I'm reading that right. That is where I would want to go. It really looks solid. There's horses at the top of the market that won't run in that race. And even if they all do turn up, I still think that horse is competitive, and it is the each way bet of the week for me right now. Bardenstown Lad at 16 to 1. I really like that horse. Moving on, we've then got Gold Cup. I would make Galvin favourite. For me, it's the solid horse of the race. The others have all got question marks of some description. I think Galvin's still improving. It stays. It's a really nice horse, and the Gold Cup market, I think, was originally looking a bit complicated, and I think if you actually look through the complication, Galvin's the one I'd be on for a win bet. I think there's value in Tornado Flyer. Double figures for a horse that won the King George this year is big, and I think Chantry House at 16 to 1 is overpriced too. So I think there's overpriced horses, but Galvin's the one from a win. And then we've got 2 more races. We've got the Hunter's Chase, so the St James's Palace Hunter Chase. I think Porlock Bay is got some value in it at 7 to 1. That and Billaway's at 4s. Porlock Bay is at 7s. There's not much between them, so I'd take Porlock Bay at 7s. The one I like at a price in what will probably be a smaller field this time, and I'll probably try and say it correctly if I can, Fumer Dueries, we'll go with 16 to 1. I think it's still improving. It's got excellent form at point to points. When it has turned up on a kind of national hunt course, it's done well enough to. I think that one's definitely a good value at 16 to 1 at the moment. So that's going to make my final bet selection. And then the last race we've got is the Paddy Power's Mares Chase. And the only one I'm really looking at there, if it turns out, big if, because it has got interesting entries. It's got entries in for the Gold Cup and the Grand National, which, you know, the Gold Cup, amazing. If they turn up there, I wouldn't back it there. Is Mount Ida. It's won at Cheltenham before. 8 to 1 you can get in the Skybet market at the moment. It's much shorter elsewhere, but if Skybet, you would, Ante-post market, so it doesn't run, you don't get your money back. But 8 to 1, there's value in that. So that's what I'm putting up there. So conclusion, we've got four things to come here for you. So the main bit we've got is these are the best value each way bets from the second 2 days. So I've got in the Turner Novice Chase, Manila Drama 25 to 1. I'm then going in the Mare's Hurdle, Impervious 14 to 1. As I've talked about a lot, Albert Bartlett, Bardenstown Lad, best each way the bet of the week so far, 16 to 1. And then in the Hunter Chase, Fumer du Aries, 16 to 1. Those are my 4 value bets right now as it stands February the 9th. Everything can change on a daily basis with the Ante-post market, but they're the 4 value each way. So I've got value each way bets, best value win bets, and I've been a bit cheeky because I've chucked one in from earlier in the week because there wasn't enough in the first 2 days to make this viable. But the best value win bets, I would see them right now. In the Arkle, Edwardstown, you can get 3 to 1 on the Skybet still. I think that's decent, should be shorter. And we've then got Florin Porter in the Stayers Hurdle, Galvin in the Gold Cup, and Mount Ida, if it runs, in the Mare's Chase. They're my 4 value win bets. And then the last thing we're going to go through, best of the big prices. So these are my 4 best of the big prices from the last 2 days of Cheltenham. So in the Turner Novice Chase, they're present and counting 100 to 1. Kashari in the Stayers 100 to 1. Triumph Hurdle C Sessions 40 to 1. And Albert Bartlett, Gelino, Bello 33. So these are ones where nearer the time, if they're paying extra places, I'd want to be having a real look at those. But I think as it stands right now, there's some value in the market, but it's tricky when they're only paying 3 places. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. That's what I've got for you today. Please feel free to join me on video 3, where we'll be talking about the handicap market. Or if you haven't already watch video 1, which is the first 2 days. Thanks very much. Appreciate your time. See you soon.